The violence that's claiming young lives like Darion's. I am joined tonight by two men who know about Chicago's mean streets. Asa Powell is a former gang member who's turned his life around, and Victor Wood spent time in prison but is now an author and a motivational speaker. Thank you both to both of you for joining us. You joined us early and gave us a very interesting, I guess, your analysis or perception of what's happening here in the city. She says she doesn't want it to happen to anyone else. Can we stop that? Is she going to be the last one, we hope?
Unfortunately, Don, we had 37 young people die last year. And this is not on-the-job training. This city is not prepared to stop this problem. I've been doing work at the Juvenile Detention Center downtown where there's 500 black boys and girls locked up that need help. And they told me this year that they don't have funding for me to go in there and work with these kids who are exactly like the boy that got out and killed that boy. Okay. We're not ready for this problem.
And again,
yet.
Allegedly, even though it's on videotape, but still allegedly.
Well, allegedly. But what we do know, Don, that 37 kids didn't allegedly die last year. They were killed and murdered.
And you heard that some of the people who were in Evelyn Holmes' story here from WLS said, you know, I don't care about the Olympics. I don't care about 2016. We didn't get it anyway. Our priorities in the wrong place.
We didn't deserve the Olympics. This city, you know, you had thousands of people downtown at Daly Plaza that were crying because we didn't get the Olympic Games. It's a game. That's why we call it the Olympic Games. These are dead children that died.
It's not a game.
If we had 1,000 cats that died in Chicago, or 37 cats that died in Chicago last year, there would be more outrage than the outrage we showed for the 37 dead black children. It is intolerable, at least it should be.
And Asa, you know firsthand about Finger High School and about what these kids are going through. Tell us why you know that.
I went to Finger High School. The location at Finger High School is in the hundreds. It's called the Wild Hundreds. And it's kind of called that because there's so many different street gangs in such a close proximity of that area. And I believe that me and Vic were, you know, supposed to go in that school. And for whatever reason, and we were excited to go in that school, and because it was my school, and because he mentored me, and it was canceled about 3 months ago. And you know, I've went in Harper and Robeson with Vic, and we've had great results in that school, and they're more violent than Finger.
Well, you guys know what's going on in the school. Again, you were at the school, you're a member of a gang, you served time, and so you know exactly what's going on. We're going to talk to you a little bit more about that to gain some insight from you about what can possibly be done, a solution to this problem of youth violence here, and then you in all schools around the city.
And can I say something, Don?
Real quick, we're going to come back.
You're to be commended as a reporter and journalist for being on the forefront of this. It didn't take Finger for this to happen. You were trying to address this problem months ago, and this is the type of responsible journalists we need.
I had to put on my glasses here because, you know, you're getting old. But the this is from the Chicago. I'm not answering that question. This is from the Chicago Police Department because the numbers really don't lie here. It says as of January 15th, January through the 15th of September 2009, victims age 20 and under 84, victims age 18 and under 54, victims age 16 and under 29, victims age 10 and under 9. Number of murders in the week of the 23rd to the 29th September. 14. The numbers don't lie.
No, they don't. No, they don't. And one of the problems that I have with this is we talk about outrage in this city. Where's the outrage from affluent black people? When you looked at that funeral, most of those people live in that neighborhood. Most of those people don't have jobs or not well-paying jobs. Where's the outrage from black bourgeoisie America, our accountants, our lawyers, our doctors, our entertainers? Kanye West is from this town. And here is a man who took time out on MTV to do a despicable act, but he didn't have time to come to this funeral. Where is the outrage from upper mobile blacks about this young black boy that was killed? There was a time when black people in this country, regardless of economic status, all came together through civil rights. Where is that outrage? We have black people that have the resources to pour into these neighborhoods and do some real work, and we're not doing that. That funeral doesn't lie. You look at the faces, those are not affluent black people. Where are our affluent black people in Chicago?
There are ministers who were out from the
Well, there were some ministers out in Chicago.
Louis Farrakhan.
With all due respect, those ministers are not in the juvenile detention center, are not in the prisons, and are not in the street dealing with this problem. Some of those people you mentioned are 70 years old. They cannot even relate with the kids, and the kids can't relate with them.
Well, that's a good segue to talk to Asa. Asa, if you went to Fenger High School, you were someone who got involved in this, went to prison, came out, and is doing very well now, a big promoter here in the city of Chicago. So then, how would someone get to you when you were there? How does someone get to those kids who are that age?
It's very simple. I met Victor Woods in maximum federal prison in Oxford, Wisconsin. If you haven't had a gun in your hand, if you haven't sold drugs, if you haven't lived the life that I lived, even though you might be telling me the right thing that's better for me, just like my mother and my grandmother did, who loved me dearly, I just wasn't receptive to it because I'm from the streets. I'm from 79th and Carpenter. The guys that I grew up with are from 79th and 69th Street. I still love them now. I want to pull them out of the street and do the legitimate business that I have. But what happened is me and Victor had a similar background. So he reached me.
You related to him.
Yeah, and he cared enough about me in maximum federal prison to say, hey, listen, you can do great things if you turn your life around.
Okay,
no one ever said that to me.
You were in high school,
before.
what, 80s, 90s?
I got out of high school in 88.
In 88. So then you would think by 1988, between 1988 and now, that something would have changed, that someone would have gotten through to someone in order for this to stop happening. Was it as bad when you were in school in 1988?
Pretty much.
It was
pretty much. And it took me to go to prison. My mother, told me not to do this. My grandmother told, and I love them dearly, but I would not listen to them because I just didn't connect with them in the same way. And when I seen the example of Victor. He didn't just tell me in prison, but when he got out, I seen him walk the walk, and he was an example for me.
Okay, so this is in the Roseland neighborhood, and people may say, you know what, it's not in my neighborhood, it's these kids. I mean, quite honestly, it's, these young black kids are killing each other. Why should I care about that? It's not happening in my neighborhood. It's never gonna happen.
Well, you know what?
You should care for the same reason those young white kids in Columbine went to school and killed all those white kids. See, back in the day, it was crack and marijuana in our neighborhood. Now it's crystal meth in their neighborhood. We're all in this together. If you put a bunch of liquid in a cup, eventually it's going to spill over. And this is destined to spill over into white America. This problem is 10 minutes west of Chicago, downtown Magnificent Mile, and 10 minutes south. Chicago is just not Saks Fifth Avenue, Water Tower, and Daley Plaza. All of these people are citizens of Chicago.
We've got 30 seconds. The mayor got off the airplane and immediately said we've got to stop this code of silence. Is the code of silence, is that the problem? Is that part of the problem?
No, that's not part of the problem. The problem is dealing with the issue. The issue isn't the code of silence. The issue is the circumstances that have been created in our neighborhoods that create these children or have these children doing these things. That's the problem.
Code of silence?
I think it's a code of silence amongst some people. I went to federal prison and I did not snitch on anyone,
right,
because that's just how I was raised. I believe Mayor Daley loves this city. I just believe people like Victor and myself need to get more involved with Mayor Daley to give a different face on this problem.
Why do I have to beg Chicago to help save children in this city?
Asa,